Hello everyone, welcome to A Clear Perspective. I'm Serene. Despite strong doubts, Obama invited many high-profile personnel to celebrate his birthday. Why such a grand celebration? After Obama's birthday celebration, far-left magazines challenged Speaker of the House Pelosi, claiming that she might step down soon. Why? Who will be Pelosi's successor, and what is his background? In addition, there is more news on the 52 Texas Democratic lawmakers who fled to Washington, D.C. I will talk all of this today. The biggest news last weekend was Obama's 60th birthday party. The New York Post, RedState, and many other media outlets reported this. Despite the scaled-back size, the party still looked pretty big. Obama's 60th birthday party on August 7th was held at a $12 million waterfront mansion on Martha's Vineyard. Lots of people have been questioning Obama for hosting such a big party during the pandemic and not wearing a mask. In response, Obama claimed that the party was downsized to only family members and close friends. But media reports show that celebrities from all over the country flew in for the celebration. This included former U.S. Secretary of State and currently Biden's climate envoy John Kerry, who took a private jet to attend. Tom Hanks, George Clooney, Oprah Winfrey, Beyoncé, and many other celebrities also flocked to the island. Reports say the airport on Martha's Vineyard Island was packed with private jets and helicopters. A staff member who attended the party told the Daily Mail on August 8th that 300 to 400 people were in attendance. Perhaps you may ask, why Obama invite such a large group of VIPs to his birthday party during the pandemic? The article on RedState.com suggests that after a year of isolation, they have been looking forward to reuniting. So frankly speaking, Obama's birthday party is not just a party, but an invitation for politicians and celebrities to advance the Obama legacy and agenda. It is worth mentioning that Nancy Pelosi, despite being disinvited from the scaled-down party, still made a trip to Martha's Vineyard that weekend. The Daily Mail reported that Pelosi ran into Obama at the Vineyard Heavens Country Club on Saturday afternoon while having lunch with Oprah Winfrey. In the previous episode, I talked about the infrastructure bill that passed the Senate on Tuesday. Today, I will talk about Mitch McConnell's role in this bill. Earlier, I talked about how only $550 billion of this $1 trillion infrastructure bill is for infrastructure renewal and construction. Trump called it a non-infrastructure bill. Republican Senator Ron Johnson suggested to add the border wall funding into the bill, but Democrats rejected. Senator Josh Hawley said it was a radical left woke politics bill. According to Hawley, the bill contains a gender identity mandates and radical equity agenda and the Green New Deal. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell can be credited with the passage of this bill. He stayed behind the scenes for much of the bipartisan work. However, in December 2016, McConnell blocked President Trump's proposal for an infrastructure bill. Someone found a December 12, 2016 report on the MarketWatch website, headlined, McConnell says he doesn't want Trump to propose $1 trillion stimulus for infrastructure. That was just after Trump won the 2016 presidential election and was already talking to McConnell about the infrastructure plan. According to this report, McConnell responded to President Trump's infrastructure plan by saying, quote, "We need to do this carefully and correctly, and the issue of how to pay for it needs to be dealt with responsibly." But now, McConnell is allowing a non-infrastructure bill from Biden to pass. After the Senate passed the bill, Trump issued a statement saying, Quote, McConnell is working so hard to give Biden a victory. Now they will go for the big one, including the biggest tax increases in the history of our country. According to Congressional Budget Office's analysis, the $1 trillion infrastructure bill would add $256 billion to the federal deficit over the next decade. The cost of the bill will be covered by new taxes and savings plans. On Tuesday night, the Senate passed another $3.5 trillion spending plan to address Democrat programs and climate change. In response, President Trump said Wednesday that while Americans were sleeping, radical Democrats put forward a plan that would destroy America with the $3.5 trillion communist plan. Trump continued, "This legislation is an assault on our nation, on our communities, and on the American dream. It destroys our borders and the rule of law by granting dangerous amnesty that would flood America's beautiful cities. It will overwhelm our schools and make our nation less safe. It raises taxes like we have never seen, while also making many things you buy every day more expensive, such as gas, groceries, and much more. And don't forget the crazy Green New Deal." Lastly, Trump called out, "America, you are being robbed in the dark of night. It's time to wake up." Trump sees the consequences of the Democrats' far-left policies for the U.S. while they are still in the making. But for most ordinary people, we may not understand these consequences until we experience them ourselves. The infrastructure bill will also go to the House of Representatives. Nancy Pelosi insisted that the infrastructure bill be bundled with the $3.5 trillion anti-poverty and climate plan for a vote, which will wait until September. Speaking of Pelosi, she seems to be abandoned by the Democratic Party. On August 10th, the far-left magazine Atlantic Magazine reported that sometime in the not-so-distant future, probably after next year's midterm elections, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will announce that she is stepping down. The Atlantic Magazine is a far-left media outlet of which veto of Steve Jobs has a major stake in. The California Globe also reported that Pelosi may not run for re-election again. Why would Pelosi, Speaker of the House, announce her resignation? These two media outlets are now reporting unprecedentedly negative information about Pelosi. Is Pelosi in trouble, or is exposing herself in advance? Or is this the doing of another key figure in the Democratic Party? The fact that this happened after Obama's birthday celebration is particularly suspicious. Please let me know what you think about this in the comments section. The person who broke the story to the Atlantic Magazine was Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. Interestingly, he may potentially succeed Pelosi. The Atlantic reported that Pelosi's top deputies all aspire to her position, but they are also in their 80s. The majority of Democrats in and out of Congress expect them to step aside too. The article says pretty much every Democrat in Congress and beyond is confident that Hakeem Jeffries of New York will be the next Speaker of the House if Democrats manage to hold on to their majority next year, or the minority leader if they lose it. But why haven't the Democrats spoken publicly about this issue? The Atlantic Magazine commented, quote, "Democratic members of Congress won't talk about any of this publicly, as if Pelosi might suddenly appear and pull their hearts from their chests." It appears that the Democrats see Pelosi as a tyrant. The Atlantic also said that Jeffries would have the support of the Congressional Black Caucus, which has many influential members. In fact, Pelosi has been challenged from within the Democratic Party for the past few years, but there has never been enough support to vote her off. But this time, The Atlantic said it's almost certain that Jeffries would have the backing to succeed Pelosi. Jeffries claims to be a progressive politician, a progressive Democrat, and is different from the far-left Democratic Socialists. In fact, the critical race theory now promoted by the Democratic Party and the class struggle of communism are the same in nature, just with different names. They are both ideologies that intend to sabotage human relations, invalidate the history and the traditions of our nation, and undermine the cultural heritage of the nation. It is difficult to tell if Jeffries is not more left than Pelosi. Perhaps the person who is really in control of the Democratic Party behind the scenes is planning to let the young and obedient one take over the stage. As I mentioned earlier, after Obama disinvited Pelosi to his birthday celebration, Pelosi went anyway in order to meet other Democrats, but accidentally ran into Obama. If this is really what happened, then it makes sense for the California Globe to report that Pelosi may not even run for re-election again. The reason they give is that Pelosi has no desire to serve in the minority, which means that Pelosi herself believes that the Republicans will take back the House in 2022. Also, what's happening to the 52 Democrat lawmakers in Texas who are trying to flee from a voter integrity bill? On Wednesday, August 11th, the Texas House Sergeant-at-Arms went from office to office handing out arrest warrants to these 52 Democrats who fled the state. Before this, about 20 Democratic lawmakers who fled Texas sued Texas Governor Greg Abbott, House Speaker Dade Phelan, and State Representative James White, alleging that their efforts to force their return caused them anxiety and distress. On Monday, a county judge approved the Democratic lawmakers' charges, barring the arrest and the detention of the fled Democrats. Speaker Phelan and Governor Abbott immediately petitioned the Texas Supreme Court, which on Tuesday overturned the lower court's ruling and allowed the arrest of the runaway Democrats. On the same day, Speaker Phelan issued 52 arrest warrants for the 52 House Democrats still missing from the state capitol. He ordered the Texas House Sergeant-at-Arms to bring them to the Capitol. Last week, Governor Abbott ordered a second special legislative session to be held on August 7th. Abbott said, "I will continue to call special session after special session to reform our broken bail system, uphold election integrity, and pass other important items that Texans demand and deserve." If the Democrats knew this would happen and that there would be no escape, would they bother to flee? That's all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next week. Hope you have a good weekend. Bye-bye.